Hi, this is Pizza Rashid. In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with enumeration in C#. And my next video will be on the single dimensional array. Keep watching. Please subscribe to this channel and make sure to hit the bell icon to receive notifications of my latest videos. What is enumeration? Enumeration, in short enum, is basically a custom data type. We use it to group fixed set of name-value pairs. If you want to create a new type of enumeration, you need to use C# enum keyword. Remember, enumeration is a strongly typed, and because of this strongly typed, it prevents many errors and makes the code easier to read and understand. Don't worry, I will show you everything step by step. This is basic structure of enumeration. Please, I need your full attention here. This is very important slide. You use enum keyword to define an enumeration, followed by enumeration name, and a set of values you use with the enumeration type. Now these values should be inside curly braces, separated by commas. Each enum member has a name and associated constant value, where the name is a string and the value is zero-based integer number. By default, each member of enumeration is automatically assigned a value according to the order in which it is defined, starting from 0. You can use different integer values like this. Remember this, each enumeration has a type for storage. It's called underlying type. But by default, enumeration values are stored as an integer type. You can specify a different type using a colon after the enumeration name, followed by the type you want to use, your desired type. These are the valid data types you can use with the enumeration. I'm going to use the C# online editor for the demo. You can find the link in the description below. Let me create a new enumeration, then I explain it to you. This is important. You can only use enumeration inside a namespace or a class. You cannot use it within any method. You can define all these names on a single line in the form of a comma-separated list. Here I have defined a new type of enumeration called planets, with 5 named constants, fixed names, which are planet names, each separated by comma. By default, the first element has a value 0, and each subsequent element has one value higher. So the value of Mercury is 0, Venus is 1, Earth is 2, and so on. Additionally, you can specify different values for each member names, just by giving integer values at the time of declaration like this. Now Mercury is 11, Venus 12, and so forth. By the way, you can assign values to some of the enum members and leave the rest unassigned. Mercury is initialized with the value 1 and Venus is 2. I haven't assigned any value to Earth, Mars and Jupiter. Any members left unassigned are automatically given a value that is 1 greater than the last assigned value. That means consecutive numbers after 2 will be assigned to unassigned members. Value of Earth is now 3, Mars 4, and so on. Now you can use enumeration like any other type, same as you do by declaring a variable with any data type like integer, string, etc. If the name of your enumeration is planets, now you can create a variable of type planets just by declaring a variable with this new enum type. This is the type. And this is the variable name. Now to assign a value to enum variable, you use dot operator. Then access planets element one at a time. Click run. This will print name of the element. This is called implicit data type conversion, where both the types are compatible. And the C# compiler knows the conversion of data is safe from this side to this. One thing to mention here, you cannot set the value directly. That's not defined by the enumerated type like this. This element doesn't exist in the enumeration list. You can see the error here. What if I want to retrieve the value of enum member, like this value of Mercury? I can do this, right? On the left side, I have declared this variable with int data type because I want to store this integer value of Mercury into this variable. Look at this error. C# compiler complains. Cannot implicitly convert. You need explicit conversion. Meaning C# compiler cannot automatically convert whatever value comes from this side into integer. Because on the receiving end, I have integer variable to store integer value of Mercury. Actually, the value comes from this part is a string value, a name of enum member. Let me show you. See the output here. That's the element name, not a value. You need to force the C# compiler to make the conversion in order to get the Mercury value. It's called explicit conversion or force conversion. Now, one way in explicit conversion is casting. For explicit casting, I will use the parenthesis operator, which will force the compiler to make the conversion from one type to another. To perform a cast, put the target data type inside parentheses in front of the variable to be converted. And what's the target data type? It's actually underlying data type of this enumeration, which is by default integer, int, if you haven't changed the data type. Click Run. Finally, you can see the value of Mercury here. To get the name from value you received from here, this one, again you do the explicit cast like this. This will return the name of the element. To convert an enumeration element to a string type, you can do that with toString method. It will return element as a string. Enumeration contains several static methods you can use. Let me give you an example here. How do you know if a value or element exists in the enumeration? You use isDefined static method for that. This method returns a boolean value of true or false to tell you whether a value or name exists in the enumeration. Enum class, then dot, select this static method isDefined. Now you need to pass two parameters in this method. One is enum type. Another is a value or name of enum type. This type of keyword is used to get the underlying type, used by the C# compiler during runtime. Yes, Mercury is the element of enumeration. Let's pass few more values and see the result. Earth is the element of enumeration. That's why isDefined method returned true. Neptune is not. IsDefined method returned false. Value of Mercury is 1. That's why isDefined method returned true. Value 20 doesn't exist in the enumeration, so the result is false. There is a try-pass static method. Let's look at the implementation of this method first. Okay, this is important. Actually, try-pass method converts string name or a value of one or more enum elements to a corresponding enumeration value. And if the conversion is successful, try-pass method returns true, otherwise false. This part of parameter is a string value. Here you will use enumeration name or a value to convert into an enum. And this part is the result. If conversion succeeds, then this output variable here will contain object of enum type whose value is represented by this string. And suppose if the conversion fails, then the result would be 0. That's the default value. Remember, this parameter is passed uninitialized. Once try-pass returns true, then you can use isDefined method to make sure the value exists in the enumeration. Let me show you. Click Run. 2 is a valid value because this element exists in the enumeration as a value of Venus. You can see the result here. What if I use 22 here? The value is invalid. Try-pass method returns false. You can use these operators on the values of enum types. Okay, let's see few examples. I'm going to use another enumeration now. Remember, enum values will be used with these operators, not the enum names. Okay, let me quickly code a switch statement, then I explain it to you. Now this is the switch statement. In the parenthesis, I need to pass the expression. I have coded multiple case labels here. These cases represent the possible values of this switch expression. When this expression finds the matching value specified by these case labels, meaning the value of this matches with any of these, then statements inside that case execute. If none of the values specified by these case labels match with the expression, then this default label executes. Okay, for expression, I pass the planet variable. The value of planet variable will be used to test these three cases. And if none of the case matches, then obviously this default case executes. This case matches with the value of switch expression. You can see the result here. What if I change the value of planet variable to something that doesn't match these cases? Then this default case executes. Let me show you. If you want to loop through enumeration members, you use the enum class and its methods. To loop through enumeration members, I will use for each loop. Actually, for each loop has a very simple syntax to cycle through all the elements, whether it's an array, enum, or collection. Okay, let's code the loop first. You can see the output here. I have declared a variable of type planets that's used for looping. Then this getValues method is used, which returns array that contains all the values in the enumeration. I mean values, not names. This is because you cannot directly loop through enum members. Instead, you use getValues method that returns an array with all the enumeration elements. For each loop then uses this array for looping. To use enum during runtime, during code execution, this type of method is used. Now each time the loop iterates, a single element from the array is assigned to the variable planet. Which I have used within the loop body here. This statement is using string interpolation to format the output of enum member names, which you can see here, and their values. Multiple enum members can share the same value. Let's see how. You cannot use multiple members with the same name. But you can use duplicate value. That means you cannot do this. But instead, you can do this. Let's see another example. For element 3, instead of assigning a value 2, I can use the computed values of 1 and 2 to generate the value of 3. Then for 4 and 5, I can do this. Here is the output. I have written a complete step-by-step article on enumeration. In the article, I have used images and code examples just to make sure you understand the topic thoroughly. You can find the article link in the description below. And one request, if you like the article, please share it.